Many of our children are learning various toileting skills, etc. Each classroom has a sensory room, which our occupational physical therapists can use to actually provide their interventions in the educational setting. Then you'll see all these workstations, which are individual workstations where a one-to-one staff will sit and work on a program with one of our students. As we look this way, you'll see that there's a door which goes out to a specialized playground, which was developed and designed to meet the needs of our children. And each classroom has its own playground, and then our children can use a larger playground together. So if we're providing interventions in a play environment, that'll be that environment just off the classroom.
How many children would be in a classroom like this?
Anywhere from 5 to 9 children, just depending on their needs, their size, and how many staff they bring with them.
And main teacher, aides, how does that work?
They'll have a teacher, they'll have a lead teacher aide, which is like a teacher assistant, and then they'll have what we call individual instruction aides, and many of our children have a one-to-one individual instruction aide. So we have a significant amount of staff to provide the best science to our children.
Sensory room, what types of things would the staff person do in there?
For example, sensory integration is something, or is an intervention that many of our students require, and their ability to regulate their emotions is based on how well their senses are integrated. So our occupational physical therapist might come in and provide some deep pressure with some of our weighted blankets, or might allow them to, or might help them to learn some relaxation strategies by sitting in a certain environment or by receiving a very specific type of positive stimulation.
Now the school day here is?
It's from 8:30 to 2:30, and then our children that reside with us, we continue those interventions until they go to bed at night.
When is there a schedule? Like, you know, you go to this room this time or this room this time, and how do you decide who's in what classroom together?
We group our children based on age and development, just like they would be in any academic environment. Our older children move through the environment more, just like when you were in junior high and high school, you change classes more often. And they might go to the greenhouse, they might go to our vocational training center, might go to a model apartment, which we might see later. So as children age, they move through the building more frequently than they do when they're younger.
They're work centers so that you have one-on-one, you have stations. Do we learn math, reading, and all of those types of skills here? Do, some don't?
It's really based on the individual, but all of the individual education plans have those components, but it may be more functional for some children. They may be learning how to count money, because that's going to be pretty significant for them when they leave in a few years and go out into the community. Or the children may be just trying to sort some objects before they learn to count them.
Okay, so it's skill-based and one-on-one.
One-on-one, and we're programming for independence, helping them to be able to live a more independent life when they leave us.
Okay, and one of those examples will be the greenhouse.
That's
so
right.
We really will go to the greenhouse.
Okay.
Okay, what's going on here?
Well, we're in our greenhouse. It's really 2 rooms. There's an educational environment in this setting. We have one of our students who's actually planting some vegetables, of which we'll use later in salads. And if we look behind us, you'll see the actual greenhouse, which is where our children will come in and monitor the growth of their plants. We use these plants to beautify the campus. We also give them away as gifts. We may sell them from time to time. So this is not only a therapeutic exercise, but also a vocational skill.
Which is very important. Is this something that Stephanie enjoys doing? That's the most important thing.
She would do this all day.
She would do this all day if she could.
And which is exactly what we're trying to do, because many jobs need to have somebody do this all day.
Absolutely. And very few environments have this type of greenhouse married with an instructional setting to allow these skills to develop.
And it does need to develop, and you get to where you're comfortable and you can take a skill learned here at the Learning Center back out into the community.
Generalize it into the community.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for showing us.
Nice work, Stephanie.
Okay, hi Lindsay. You're here with the Speech and Language Program.
Right.
And you have some show and tells.
Sure. We have a few things that work with our youth that we use that could also work at home for kids. A couple of the things that we have here, we have a first, next, then last board that we use to let the students know what activity comes first, which one's next, then and last, and that way they can see what they have to do in a certain time period to kind of reduce anxiety, but also give them an idea of what their day is
What are we
like.
going to do today? What are we going to do today, Mom?
Exactly.
So any parent could do a first, next, then, and last.
Or even just a picture schedule.
And picture schedule for their child. And sometimes we have tasks that we need to do, like pick up our room or whatever. So we always tell kids that they can have, or parents to give choices. So this would be a way that they could do this, that they could make the choices, and you could do the activity cards or the picture of the things that needed to be done that morning or that afternoon.
Right. The kids can't consult a daily planner like we do to see their day, so this kind of helps them organize it.
This could be put on the refrigerator or someplace where they can see it. Great.
Exactly. We also use a What I Am Working For board that lets them see what they get after they complete so many tasks, and we use stars. So after 5 stars are on here, then they know that they get to work for a swing. And so once they've completed all their tasks, then they get to go have that swing that they've worked for.
And again, something that could be done either just on paper, or you could use a computer and laminate it and use it over and over. And the stars are great because you don't have to do anything. You have them there, and you need paper and lamination and Velcro. And again, this could be used with a sticky that they could be put anywhere and at the child's height.
Right, so the child can see. And we also have out some of our visually stimulating toys that kind of motivate kids to do things for us, as well as some of our augmentative devices that help kids who can't necessarily tell us what they want, but we can program it and it'll tell us that they're all done. That way it also gives them a voice as opposed to a tantrum or a screaming fit.
So if they need something, you use some of these and clue them in, and they communicate through that.
Right.
So
they can use.
Does this say something different?
Right. You can program it to say whatever you want. It's a very simple 20-second message on, those are called a Big Mac.
Okay.
And we also have this one has 4 squares, and we call it, this is a talk pad. So we can actually program 4 different messages in here with 4 different pictures if we wanted to put bathroom on here.
No cone, please.
And then all we would have to do is say, I need to use the bathroom.
I need to use the bathroom.
And that way they could hit the button or have the picture accessible, and we could have 4 messages on them for their day.
And that can be changed depending on what skill they're working on.
Exactly. It's very easy to program. Simple 2 buttons to push and say what you want it to say, and you're done.
And if someone needs to know about how to do this, they can call the Hope School and get information about these things.
Right.
Part of the training. What would the book be?
This is a picture exchange communication book for youth who can be verbal, but also for nonverbal youth. We have pictures set up in here that they can use to request.
And they can pull those out and then...
and if I handed it to you, then you would know that I want the computer.
Okay.
And then you would take me to the computer. We have it set up for activities in their day, different objects they might need, different toys and food as reinforcers.